I am Lauri Rosendahl, President of Nasdaq Helsinki. Welcome to this portable talk show. I am now here at the Marimekko head office in Helsinki, Finland. And soon I will meet the company CEO Mika Ihamuotila for a short discussion. I wonder how the global growth plans are proceeding of this iconic design brand from Finland. Hello, I am Lauri Rosendahl, President of the Helsinki Stock Exchange. And welcome to this mobile talk show. We are here in Helsinki at the Marimekko headquarters, and with me is Mika Ihamuotila, biggest shareholder and managing director of Marimekko. Nice to see you, Mika, and we are very happy to have you here with us today.
Welcome, good to see you here.
So would you tell us something to start with about yourself?
Well, actually I have my background in finance. I've been a CEO of an investment bank, a Nordic investment bank, and also a CEO of a Scandinavian universal bank. But I've always been interested in design and arts and consumer behavior and so on. My mother is a textile designer and so on. So when I left Sampo as CEO of Sampo Bank, I kind of wanted to combine my experience in managing companies and leading and expanding companies with my passion to design and arts and attracting consumers.
All Finns have been involved with the Marimekko brand and design for more than 50 years already, and Marimekko is now a globally well-known brand also. And you recently told that Marimekko is moving into its third phase of strategy. Could you describe steps 1 and 2 of that strategy and what this step 3 involves?
Well, when I started 6 years ago with my team, with my excellent team, we felt that the brand needs to be crystallized. We started to think that what is it in Marimekko that really makes us truly special and unique in the global markets, and we then found kind of clearly understood that it's about Marimekko's prints and colors that made us famous in the 50s and 60s, and is still something that really can differentiate ourselves in the global market, and that's why we kind of left everything else. We kind of cut away everything else, and we focused on fashion and bags and accessories and home products that are fulfilled of colors and prints and so on. But it's also about happiness and bringing people authenticity and so on. So we crystallized the brand and brought some new product categories like glass and ceramics, and brought a new culture into the company, made it a combination of a very professional organization which understands kind of the good combination of profitable and efficient company with a creative talent. Secondly, we wanted to take a strong step in creating Marimekko a global company, and when we started the second phase of our strategy, Marimekko was still a relatively domestic company, even though the brand was quite well known in different parts of the world, and we've been opening about 20 stores a year in Asia, Europe, and in the US during our second phase, and now we have about 130 stores in these 3 key markets, and I'm happy that during that phase we also, in a relatively early stage, we created an efficient and digital company. We were one of the first ones who were really strongly in social media and very strong in kind of communicating our brand digitally. But secondly, we also launched an e-commerce in the US and some other markets years ago. So I'm happy that in addition to our global expansion, especially in Asia, we also took a lot of steps in creating a digital company. And I'm happy with those two steps. And now it's time for us to take the third strategic step, and that is, in shortly, it's about creating a relatively, design-driven niche brand, strongly followed by a design community. We want to create this brand more relevant for a wider audience. And we are very well positioned in having good two pillars in the first and second phases of our strategy. And now it's time for us to build a stronger fashion brand and make this beautiful company, a beautiful brand, more relevant for a slightly wider audience than what is the case at the moment.
Okay, so you are now present in 40 countries with 130 shops, you said, in Europe, Asia, and North America. Where are you going to open new shops, or will you focus more on e-commerce?
Well, it's, I think, very, very strongly, especially in this kind of a financial and economic situation. We want us to penetrate into markets where there is, first of all, underlying growth in the consumer markets, and secondly, where there is kind of a natural demand for a brand like Marimekko, you know, for prints and colors and authentic design and so on. And that is the key reason why we are focusing so much in Asia. We've especially during the next years we're going to open several new stores in China and you know, most likely in Taiwan, Japan, and we just told the markets that we're going to open 8 stores in the Middle East market, Eastern markets, and so the key focus, geographical more focus area for the brick and mortar, the physical stores is clearly Asia. But also we want to create an omni-channel company which has a very strong digital and e-com platform.
What about the digitalization of retail sales happening right now around us and the trends going forward? Do you see that more as an opportunity or a threat for a brand like Marimekko?
I think digitalization is going to change the whole industry in mainly in 2 areas. First of all, how fashion and home products brand is going to kind of express itself and communicate its brand essence, and it's I think that gives a tremendous opportunity especially for a small company like Marimekko. It makes us cost efficient to express ourselves in the global markets when we have the social media and our own and third-party digital kind of channels with which we can, you know, tell the story of Marimekko. When it comes to e-com, at the moment in our industry, something like, you know, between 2 and 5% of the total sales of a brand like this is usually carried through e-com, and I think that in 5 years' time it's going to come up maybe to 10 to 15 or maybe even 20%. I would not still want to kind of overemphasize the speed with which it's going to happen during the next 2 years. But if a company like Marimekko is not kind of totally ready to change its behavior towards an omni-channel and digital company, I think it's going to more or less vanish. And I'm happy that in Marimekko's case we started to create this company as an omni-channel and digital company already years ago. So I think we are very well positioned because we were kind of a forerunner, front runner in this field. That you know we were and we are not lagging behind, but rather kind of we've been one of the pioneers going forward.
You recently hired a new creative director, Anna Ternell from Sweden, and that raised a little bit of eyebrows here in Finland, with Marimekko being a very Finnish brand. What do you expect from this change, and where will this take the Marimekko design going forward?
Well, if you think about Marimekko in the global markets, I mean, we are extremely well known at the moment in home products and you know, textiles and so on. But Marimekko became most well known in the 50s, 60s, and 70s by its radical innovations in fashion. You know, we were the brand who kind of created prints and colors and freedom for women in fashion, and we see a lot of potential in making Marimekko a much stronger fashion house. We are not aiming to high fashion or luxury or something like that, because we wouldn't be honest to the DNA of our brand. But Anna is a perfect match in the sense that she is very strong in. I mean, her background is in fashion and bags and accessories, and she kind of supports our strategic aims in becoming a stronger fashion house. But also I think she was a great recruitment for us because she's an international design leader. She's been leading international global design teams in Paris and Stockholm and so on, and so she kind of helps and supports our globalization process, but she also has Scandinavian roots and she understands Finnish design and Scandinavian design. So in that sense, she's not such a risky recruitment for us because she is a Scandinavian and she understands the global market. So I think I have big kind of high hopes for her new position and her personality and her professional background.
Okay. From your revenues, we can see that still almost 40% comes from the domestic Finnish market, and the Finnish economy is struggling a little bit with growth right now. That's probably one of your challenges in terms of lackluster growth opportunities in the domestic market. What other challenges do you have, or do you just focus on the opportunities?
Well, of course, it would be naive or arrogant to say that we only have growth opportunities. Many leaders should never think like that. There are always dangers in this market, and the whole industry is in a disruption phase. One of them being the digitalization of the industry, and you have to be always very critical that are we doing our steps right when it comes to the distribution and how the consumers' tastes are changing, how they want to have more ecological and long-lasting products and so on when it comes to our sourcing channels and so on. So there are a lot of things we have to be very, very careful but I feel that we have a very capable management team here and we've been courageous in taking steps and we already have a pretty nice track record during the last years that we've jumped from a relatively small domestic company into becoming a global, still of course a relatively small global retail and fashion company, but still a global company during these 5 or 6 years.
So how does the future look for Marimekko now? What are the growth opportunities going forward and challenges?
Well, I think it would be arrogant and naive not to kind of acknowledge that the European economy and the consumers' sentiment, you have to acknowledge that there are a lot of difficulties in the market, but I also see that there are a lot of opportunities for a company like Marimekko. Maybe 3 main opportunities or big opportunities. First of all, we're living in a time where there are huge emerging consumer markets, especially Asia, where I see that especially Marimekko is going to has a big opportunity. China and other markets in Asia are growing very rapidly, and those happen to be markets in which consumers are interested in a brand like Marimekko. Asian consumers like prints and patterns and authentic brands with heritage and so on. So I think that's maybe the biggest potential of Marimekko. Secondly, I think a brand or a company like Marimekko, which is relatively small, but which has global awareness, is one which can kind of benefit from the digitalization or the omni-channel development, which is the direction towards which the consumer is going. Because we have not over-invested in brick and mortar or long, huge leases or something like that. So I think we have the opportunity as a small company with the awareness, global awareness, to kind of benefit from both e-com and communicating our brand digitally, both in social media and other digital channels. But thirdly, I think it's very important to understand that the values of the consumers are changing maybe more radically than what we've seen during the last several decades. The consumers are kind of shifting away from fast fashion and unauthentic brands towards brands that truly stand for something. Brands that have strong values, strong identity, true heritage, true story, that stand for, Marimekko maybe more than there are not many brands in the world within fashion or home products industry that so strongly stand for something. In our case, authenticity, encouraging people to be who they are, long-standing design and so on, being sustainable, honest, and so on. So I think that we are very well positioned in that sense, and I think that these kind of three areas are such that give us such a kind of a backing that it's really up to us, up to the management, and up to our personnel to kind of grab what there is to take. So I think it's really up to us, and I'm actually very optimistic that we have what it takes to become one of the most desired and attractive design companies within fashion and home products.
Okay. Thank you, Mika, for having us here. And good luck with your great opportunities ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us for this interview with the Marimekko CEO. I think it was quite interesting to hear about global growth plans.